Hello, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today, I'm going to do a fast and loose watercolor tonalist landscape painting using Daniel Smith Sodalite Genuine. And the paper is a Meeden block, 100% cotton, hot press. I think it's 140 pound, and it is 9 by 12. Meeden had sent me a whole bunch of stuff for free to review. Check out links down below. I have some affiliate links, and if there's anything you like and you order through that, or if you use my discount code Andrew, you get 10% off, and I get some cash for more art supplies. So it's a win-win. That being said, please like, subscribe, follow, and if you want to support this channel through other means, I have the Patreon down below. I also have the Etsy, and I have my coffee table book. Oh, and you're always welcome to follow along with anything that I do. You have my express permission to sign your own name, and you have my express permission to go ahead and sell it. If you want to give it away, whatever you want to do with it. I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy painting, and progress and just enjoy life. All right, so I coated this paper with, I'm using the large Ron Ranson brush. That's what I go to for coating paper. I like to thoroughly saturate it. People ask me, how does my paper stay wet so long? I think sometimes it's just using the Hake brush in and of itself with the water in it, and having some other things going on with the environment, the temperature in the room, etc. Now, the cool thing about the Meeden stuff is that they sent me the cold press, and I tried it out. And I've been using so much of Legion Stonehenge paper, the 90-pound drawing paper. I've been used to smoother materials lately. So I said, oh, I'd like to try the hot press. So they're like, okay, we'll send you one. So that was pretty cool. You could use this technique with any pigment. You're going to have different ranges of values depending on what pigment you use. And it's a great way to learn what pigments do and to really just let loose and have fun. I don't have anything in mind with what I want to paint, so I'm just going to kind of go into it. This technique is derived from the oil painter technique used by Dennis Sheehan and Stuart Davies and other oil tonalist landscape painters, where they take their pigment, their paint, they mix it up with and thin it, and they kind of slosh it around, wipe it on, wipe it off, and go back and forth. So that's going to be my goal here. Let my scene create itself. So when I did use this paper in the past, when I used the blow dryer, so the cold press, it didn't lift up the glue on the edges, which was great. I'm really not experienced with block pads, mainly due to the price. But that really surprised me because the other block pad I had tried from a different company, it raised every time. And I think I have that in some videos. I can't think of the name of the company. I know I got it off of Amazon. Okay. Also, price-wise, I think this 20 pad lists for about $20. And that's about $1 a sheet. And when I buy my big sheets of my usual paper, the Stonehenge Legion, that's about $4, give or take. So it's about $1, give or take, for each 11 by 14 that I use. So it's very comparable, very easy to compare the two price-wise. I think the block pads are the preference that people have whenever they're plein air watercolor painting. So, because you don't have to attach it to anything, it's already attached, and it just makes things easier. I actually have a farmer's market tomorrow, and I packed up some oil paints for some outdoor plein air painting while I'm at the market. All right. So, let's see where we're at. Let's see what we can get in the sky. Let's see how we want to get here. All right, so the main thing is just looking for textures and tonal values. With the textures, it gives the kind of illusion that, you know, a lot's going on and that you spent a lot of time painting those regions. And it'll take a little while to develop what type of textures you like and to figure out what type of textures the brush that you're using can achieve. For the most part, I personally just use the Hake brush and then, you know, a few of the rigger brushes. And I have been adding in the fan brush. And then tonality, you're looking for your lights and your darks, and you're letting it just build up from back to front, starting light, coming darker as you go forward, to just kind of create a sense of depth. Taking the #1 rigger, we can splash in or just kind of go in really quick and get the idea of tree trunks, just movement. It's gonna dry and soften and diffuse because everything else is wet in that region. Let's see. Think with the idea of maybe a waterway right here, and I might go in and start putting some big trees in. I want a big tree near the middle. Now, whenever I'm feeding in this fashion, I have it lighter for the background, darker for this guy so it pops forward. Also, notice how it starts a little bit lower than the background does, and it ends up a little bit higher than the background. That just is a simple perspective technique. Things get bigger as you get closer to give that illusion of depth. I'm going to continue with this kind of tree line that I'm putting in. And come in with a lot more pigment on this edge. Now this is 9 by 12. That is a standard size for, I think it's a standard size for frames, but I'm usually 8 by 10 or 11 by 14. Just because of the ease of mats that I have on hand. I'm sure 9 by 12 mats are easy to find, but I think personally, whenever I stay consistent with sizes, it makes it easier for me to throw things into to mats. Which, whenever I paint things that are kind of 7 by 15, makes it a little bit difficult for me because I really haven't matted anything in that direction yet, but I like it. So that's something you just want to keep in mind. Okay. So I'm just going to build forward. You could see the brush strokes that we put in with the rigger, how they're kind of softening, but they just give a little hint that something's back there. And we can come in stronger. There we go. Start giving some life and form to these, let them move around, come up and bend. And I'll even grab the fan brush if I can find it. There it is. And I'll kind of just show how I've been using the fan brush. I just throw a little bit of pigment on there and just hatch in. It's all kind of parallel to the other marks that I'm making with the fan brush, and it's just builds up a little bit more tonal value and density. See the paper's buckling right here, and it did lift from the glue right there. All right, let's figure out how we want to bring this foreground down. Pull a little bit of that water out. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna move forward in the picture plane. I'm gonna start lower like I was explaining before. And pull a little bit of this water off this edge. There we go. See what type of trees we can get coming up in here. So being that I have a farmer's market tomorrow, I was going through a lot of my paintings, just because as you paint watercolor, you're going to find that you're going to have a large pile of paintings that kind of add up. And you can go through them, you see if you want to keep them, if you want to paint on the back of them, if you have other uses for them. So I was doing that today, and I noticed there's lacking a composition that's kind of a more circular composition, where we're bringing focus really on the inside, because I usually do an L-shaped composition, and I think I kind of want to switch it up a little bit. I've also been playing a lot with acrylics and oils, being that it's summer and off from work, even though I am helping out with summer school in the morning. And I haven't been posting too much because of the move, as well as it's summer, so sometimes people aren't really interested in watching painting videos in the summer. They want to be outside. But Louisiana has gotten very hot. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this group right here. Leave a group right here. There's part of me that's been wanting to do more of the tiny branches and figure out ways to get the illusion for those. And I really don't want the answer to be how well you have to actually sit down there and actually do them all. So I did see a drawing by Van Gogh that used hatching in such a way with trees that really gave a easy illusion for a whole bunch of branches. And that's what I'm using this fan brush for right now. So this fan brush is like a mini brush. It was in a section at Hobby Lobby that I bought a while back. And let's bring the reflections of the trees down. Just try to get that idea there. I do have my desk on a slight angle. I can't guesstimate the angle. Maybe it's like 2 or 3 degrees. It's very slight, but I do have water that runs down my paper slightly. I know other people paint at a more aggressive angle. All right, grabbing the number 4 rigger. This guy just makes bigger lines and holds more pigment for me, and that's why I jump to that, so I can really lay down a bigger tree trunk. Lifting it, trying to vary the line widths, getting that calligraphy type brush strokes, bringing this up to the top of the paper. Really trying to force myself not to just do vertical trees. It's very easy to fall into that habit of going straight up with the tree. So give them a lot of different emotion and movement to them. I might do another group of trees here. I'm going to put out some more paint. Now with this approach, you can use, like I said earlier, any paint you want. You're going to use more than usual because you're just kind of using it fresh from the tube and you're just using that. So just be aware. And I'm using the Daniel Smith, which is, more expensive. I kind of just reached in and grabbed the paint, and it's a beautiful paint, the Sodalite Genuine. But you can do this with anything, with burnt umber, raw umber, light red. Try it with yellows, and see how the pigments work and how they dry and how they clump or how they disperse. What's the darkest you can get from them, what's the lightest you can get. Just really use it to learn what your palette can do. And since you're only using one color, you don't have to worry about things not blending together and not looking good. And then it's always fun grabbing a second pigment. And I have playlists down below, which I think like a 2-tube experiments, and you can see different combinations and how those work as well. So a little bit there. Okay, so far only the one spot right here. Lift it up. I guess I'll hit it with the blow dryer in a moment. We could try scraping it. Let me find an area that's not too... Okay, there we go. So the moisture level is very low, so I'm not going to get any backfills. Or at least I shouldn't. Down here I might. I'm just add a little extra something in there. Okay, I'm going to pause the camera. I'll hit it with the blow dryer. Whenever you are doing this with any pigment, you can see how it shifts. As the water is removed, it's going to lighten up. All right, so we did the dry off. You can see the paper relaxed as it dried, and the glue did not lift in any other spots. So it might have just been a little bit of application missing right here. Yeah. Okay. So that being said, let's do our next part. Grabbing the number 4. And bring a big old tree trunk right there. Branch off. Try not to pass over exactly previous tree trunks. This is when we add a little bit more paint. Put some of that around. Just kind of pushing the paint. You could use this time to find the absolute dark that you get. I accidentally mimicked those two spots side by side, like almost perfectly parallel. So let's try to break that up. Just putting a lot of different paths. A secondary tree. Ground them in place so they don't seem to float off the page. Put a little grass around the base of them. A little bit of shape. I'll come back to that in a moment. Putting in just some different foliage. Okay. Yeah, if you feel like you put too much in, you can probably grab a little bit and see if you can push that around. I am not getting any from there, so. All right, I have the number 1. Seeing what expressive stuff we can get. For me, I just always think of all like kind of the growth and overgrowth. And even in the winter, how there's all bramble and stuff. I'm just bringing a lot of growth off of this thicker trunk. Let's experiment with switching up our angle. I think I'm going to bring some hake brush foliage up there. And stipple in a little bit. Some loose leaves on that guy. Just trying to go relatively light. Okay. All right, I'll hit it with the blow dryer one last time. All right, I'm gonna look and see how I want to build up with the number one. I think the rest of this is gonna be exploring branches. And the lights and darks. Getting some expressive mark making for roots. Okay. Just kind of reinforcing these trees. So I want them to stand out a little bit more against that background. And what I am doing to achieve that is darkening these values. That is not dark. Also sharpen up this edge. When I say sharpen up, kind of a little more detail, a little bit more oomph of what's going on, so it recedes here. I feel like we'd benefit from something bringing us in from this side. coming up and hooking over the top of grass or reeds. I almost feel like I'm looking for a path and then kind of backtracking a little bit to get the curves. Let's do a last dry off. All right, and there you go. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, follow, and I will be back soon. Y'all take care and have a great day.